Hello, you guys. This is not going to be a true live in the sense of all that lives are. I've been motivated by just some recent research I've been doing to do a series I'm calling Dispelling Dangerous Myths. And I might create a whole new playlist for these videos. If you guys get ideas, please leave them in the comment section, not in the chat, because I probably won't read through the whole chat. Tonight, I might be doing two of these lives, which means that they're going to go quick and they're going to go back to back, mostly because it's easier for me to do a live than it is for me to record two separate videos. I know that's lame, um, but that's what I'm doing. And also because it might be interesting for people to see what you guys are typing in the chat. So with this particular live, I'm going to be speaking about the statistic that's going around on the internet regarding Black men having the highest condom use of all men. Now, I find this really fascinating because we also in the Black community have the highest rate of sexually transmitted diseases, and we represent almost 50% of all new HIV cases and all HIV cases total in the country. And so I was thinking, how could all these things be true? If Black women, for the most part, are sleeping with Black men, and Black men are using condoms more than anybody, how is it that our community has the most sexually transmitted diseases and AIDS rates? So there are a lot of theories surrounding this, but I decided to not look at the theories. I decided to actually go look up the study that everybody was citing. And once I looked up the study everybody was citing, the rates of disease in our community made sense. So why am I addressing this? I am addressing this because in our community, these sort of statistics are very dangerous. They're dangerous because they don't allow us to enable ourselves to protect ourselves as a community and make the changes that we need to make. The sources that I use for this video will be in the description box. The next video that I do, the sources will be in the description box. All of the videos for this series that follow the two tonight will be in the description box. I encourage you guys to look at them. You know, I'm very big on posting my sources so you guys can do the research yourself. So let's get into it. First, let's go ahead and talk about the study that everybody is citing here on the internet, especially in the manosphere, regarding Black men using condoms the most, because I really want to put this into perspective, okay? So I'm going to look into that now, and let's go ahead and I'm going to read it. Condom use higher among Blacks than other groups, but not enough to beat HIV. The original study was the Indiana University National Sex Study. And actually, I do need to put that study into the description box so that you guys will have it. So I will do that. But it is the Indiana University National Sex Study. Many people don't even know what study they're quoting when they give this stat about Black men wearing the most condoms. But this is the study that they are citing. And it was done to refute the theory that HIV rates among African Americans result from riskier behavior. The study did show, in fact, that African Americans are more likely than other ethnic groups to use condoms, as well as the most likely to be tested for HIV. And that condom use amongst Black teenagers were the highest of any demographic, at an incredible 92% for males and 100% for females the last time they engaged sex. So let's take a close look at this study. It only looked at the last time that teenage Black people had sex, okay? So let's be clear about that. Now, let's go into as people are getting early. Condom use sharply declines in all racial groups after the age of 18. So early on, kids are having sex using condoms. This is according to Kathy A. Woodward, MD, from the Children's National Medical Center. Again, in my sources, you'll have they have links to all of these studies. So after adolescence, the dramatic difference exists between what Black men and women report about their condom use. For example, Black women ages 18 to 24 tell researchers that about 55% of their sexual encounters involve condoms. Black men in that same age range report that they use condoms only 20.5% of the time. By the time Black women reach their 40s, less than 25% of their sexual encounters include condoms. The proportion of women using condoms then ticks upwards in the 50s to 32.2%, and in the 60s, it drops again to 28.9%. In contrast, Black men report that their condom use rises until age 50, with condoms involved in 41.3% of sexual encounters among Black men ages 40 to 49. So let's back it up, right? Ages 18 to 24, only 20.5% of Black men are using condoms. As they get older, that moves up slightly to 41.3% between the ages of 40 and 49. Okay? Now, data about sexual partners were not collected during this survey. Part of this is perhaps explainable by the young men having more partners overall than women. That's what they're saying is causing the trend for condom use, but that variation between Black men and Black women, right? Because why is there such a disparity? And so they're trying to say that's probably because Black men are having sex with more people. And some other studies do back that up. Now, Dr. Reese observes that while 20.5% of young Black men reported condom use, that could be considered a public health success. That means 4 out of 5 are still not using condoms. So that's a lot of unprotected intercourse. So let me put this in perspective if you're not following me here. Essentially, yes, the study did show that Black men use condoms more than other racial groups. Okay? But it was only asking about their last sexual encounter, and then after that, condom use dropped. And at the height of Black male sexual activity, only 20.5% of them are using condoms, or only 25% of their sexual encounters include condoms. Let me put it that way. Now, that's not exactly good. Okay? That means most of the time, condoms are not being used, right? And so that's what I mean about internet, in the spirit of a gender war, we forget that we have to address problems in our community to protect ourselves. And so you might say, Irene, protect ourselves from what, right? Because when we're spewing out false stats that aren't in line, because remember, why was this study done? The study was done to disprove that Black people were risky in their sexual behavior because there are high HIV rates in our community. That's why this study was done. And they came out saying that Black men use condoms more than other groups. And I guess that's true, but it's not true to any sort of percentage that is relevant to our community, because it still means that most men, 4 out of 5, are not using condoms. Do you follow what I'm saying? And that's why we really have to dig deeper than random stuff that people say on YouTube. Again, this is not about disparaging Black men. This is because as we get into the next set of stats that I'm going to present, which are the CDC stats for sexually transmitted diseases and the CDC stats for HIV, I want you to keep in mind this study that was put out to make us feel comfortable that is actually working against us. Because we have Black men all over YouTube spewing out this rhetoric without sourcing the original material and without realizing that Although technically they are using condoms more, 4 out of 5 Black men still are having sex unprotected. And when they do use condoms, they're using it about 20% of the time at the height of their sexuality. In their 40s, condom use goes up, but it is still only about half of the time. Are you following me here? And this is why it's important that we dig into these. So let's go ahead and look at what are we protecting ourselves from? Why do I care about dispelling this myth? I'm going to tell you why right now. Let's get into it. Chlamydia. In 2017, these are the 2017 stats for our people. Okay? There were 5 times the rate of chlamydia among Black women than white women. Okay? 6.6 times the rate of chlamydia among Black men than were white men. 907 cases of chlamydia for every 100,000 males in our population. That's just chlamydia. So our Black men have more chlamydia than anybody, followed only by their women. Are you following me here? Why is it Black men use condoms more than everybody? Why is this stat a problem? How do you catch chlamydia? You don't catch that with a condom. Gonorrhea. In 2017, we were 8.3 times higher in the rate of gonorrhea than white people, even though they outnumber us. This is per capita. Per capita. Black men were almost 9 times, 8.9, which is basically 9 times more likely to have chlamydia. They were catching it. Reported cases, right? This isn't even the people that didn't get tested. These are people that got tested and were found sick than white men. And Black women at 7.6 times the rate of white women. This is why I'm not comfortable with this stat. This is why I'm pushing back on this Black women wear the most condoms crap. Because when I look at the study, the numbers aren't anything to smile about, to be honest. And when I go to the rates of disease of last year for our people, how are we almost 9 times more likely to have some of these diseases? The same is the case with syphilis. The descriptions are in the description box. What about other STDs, herpes, trichomonas, all of those things? Elevated in our community, and this isn't coming from super condom use, okay? That's not what it's coming from, and that's why I'm pushing back. I'm pushing back against these crappy, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of going onto panels. I'm tired of circulating myself around the Black YouTube sector and hearing these bogus claims. I'm sick of it because they don't help our people. They do not help. There's nothing helpful about this. This is hurting us. These are the 2017 stats. On average, 9 times more diseased than the racial group that outnumbers us by triple per capita. Make that make sense. And every time I hear somebody quoting that stat about condom use, I want to slap them. Because that is not reflected. And that stat still means that 4 out of 5 are not. And that at worst, 20% of the time, condoms are being used. And at best, between the ages of 40 and 49 and 50 and up, 40 to 50% of the time, condoms are being used. That is not something to be back patting ourselves over. It's absolutely not. And I'm going to need people to stop quoting this stupid statistic because it does not help us. It may make you feel good to say it, but it is hurting our community because we are literally the most diseased in the country. Let's look at the HIV stats. And again, the sources to this are in the box. And this is a problem, people. This is a problem. Now, this doesn't mean all the people walking around our community have diseases, but what it does mean is that we are more likely to contract them. And I want to look at the HIV stats because these broke my heart. And I'm looking back at 2016 HIV diagnosis because I don't have the 2017 diagnosis yet. There were 20,000 new cases of HIV diagnosis in the United States in 2016. This does not count the pre-existing cases in our community. 12,890 of them, so almost 13,000 of them were men. Men, you know, the men that wear condoms more than anybody? There were only 4,560 women. That's a lot, but it was triple the amount of men. And that's why I push back against this stupid statistic that people keep wanting to quote. Because the quoting of that statistic out of context, whilst our people are going around, our Black men are going around to the tune of 13,000 new cases, not counting the pre-existing cases, infected with HIV, we represent nearly half of all new HIV cases in this country. Our people represent that. 58%, almost 60%, 10,223 of those cases, those men were gay or bisexual. You follow where I'm going with this? And like I said, this is going to be a quick one. This is going to be a quick one. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move on to my next topic. My next topic is going to be dealing with marriage. There's a stat going around that there are significantly more, I've heard almost 50% more or something, Black men married than Black women. And that's absolutely not the truth. It's absolutely just a false stat. And I'm going to pull the most recent marriage stats according to the Census Bureau for our community, divorce, widowed, all those stats. And I'm done with this. I'm done with this fake YouTube crap where people go around regurgitating each other's stats. I'm over it. We're vetting all this crap. It's all getting vetted. No more bullshit stats in 2019. I'm tearing down every argument, every ignorant statement that everybody makes. I'm tearing them down. I'm not a perfect person, but I'm telling y'all, like, this stuff hurts us more than anything. And a lot of these people are agents and don't even realize it. It's time for this madness to stop. It has to stop. We need to protect ourselves in our community. There's no reason why we should be 9 times more likely to catch almost every STI than a group that outnumbers us by 3 or 4 times. Make that make sense. Per capita. And we're running around online talking about Black men wear the most condoms when we represent almost half of the new HIV cases in 2017. And Black men make up 3/4 of those Black HIV cases. And we want to spew these stats online as if that helps the Black man or helps the Black woman that sleeps with him. I will not do this. I literally won't. I'm not doing this with these people in YouTube on 2019. You know, I spent days researching this, y'all, because when you start spewing off crap to me, I'm going to research it. I'm not taking the fact that you yelled at me with a forceful voice and 15 people agreed with you, or a chat room full of 700 people agreed with you as law. I'm the one to look it up. And I advise you guys start doing this too. You vet everything that comes out of my mouth. You vet what comes out of other people's mouths. The day where we just blindly follow people on YouTube needs to be over. Everybody's not looking out for our best interest. Some people are just looking out for a check. And they'll do it to the detriment of our people. And this crap needs to be called out. It needs to be called out. So with that said, that's this one, you guys. If you want to join me for the next one, I'll be coming back on in the next 5 minutes. This conversation is going to be on Black marriage. We're about to dispel this stat that people keep spewing, that Black men are getting married more than Black women. Some people are saying to the tune of 50% more than Black women. And it's crap. It's an absolute utter lie. And I'm about to give you the resources so you can call every person out that ever quotes that stat again a liar, because they don't know what they're talking about. So today we're doing the research. So with that said, you guys, I will I will talk to you guys in about 5 minutes. I'll be right back. And like I said, we're going to do a whole series of this. And if you guys can think of any other topics, any other statistics you've heard that you want to validate or debunk, please put it in the comment section. I will be looking for those, and let's do it. Let's do it this year. Let's rip down all of the straw men in 2019.